You don't have to speak on this if you don't want to, but if you don't mind me asking, what really happened with Sam Sneed?
I think Pac just told us to go in the studio. I think he told me first to go in the studio and just beat these dudes up. And I was the first one in there. And these are the things like I can admit now when I look back at it, a man with kids, a person that changed his life, I don't agree with it. But I ain't about to do a Snoop Dogg and throw Pac under the bus. It was one of these things that we felt like, you know what I mean? I think Pac was mad because, you know what I mean? They was down with Death Row. Dre, my bad. And Dre wasn't really coming around or whatever. They falling out. So Pac look at it like, how's these dudes coming up in the studio? They don't really. It was just wild street stuff that we was young. We was wild. You know what I mean? Pac told us to go in there. He's like, move, going in. And I just went in there to start hooking off on people.
Yeah, man, crazy situation, man.
We was young and wild. You know what I mean? We was young and wild, and that's the life that we lived at that particular time. And my loyalty was with Pac. You know what I mean? And whenever he tell me that, like with the Sam Sneed, it was just another day that Pac said, "Move, handle it," and I handled it. You know what I mean? And I didn't even ask questions. Now I can look back at it and say, you know what, man, we should have been behaving a little differently. You know what I mean? But we was young kids, man, 17. Pac himself was 25 years old.
Right. Was he at least trying to fight back, or he just took the L?
I think it was more than, it was a few of them, man. They took the L hands down. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't mind sitting talking to him over some coffee like a man down and shaking his hand. But, you know, they were surrounded. You know what I mean? They was out of their territory. It really wasn't much they can do. You know what I mean? It really wasn't much because it was a few of us. I forget who else from the Outlawz that joined me, but they wasn't outnumbered. But I remember it wasn't something where we took advantage of them and start stomping them and stuff like that. You know, I remember when I walked in the studio, I was by myself. And when I started, I eventually started teeing off, and then the rest of them came after. I think, we caught them off guard. You know what I mean? I don't think they was expecting that. Obviously, if they came to that studio, they wasn't expecting for someone to do something to them. You know what I mean? I'm at a point in my life now that if I ever see Sam Sneed, I would sit down and say, look, you know what I mean? We was young, wild. I'm sure even if Pop was around, things would have changed. He probably would have, shook your hand. I would shake his hand and say, look, man, you got to understand. Forgive me. I was young and crazy.
Right. And what was the real reason behind Sam Sneed getting beat up?
Because they was down with Dre from what we knew. Pac was mad that Dre got off the record label or whatever. And Pac loyalty was with Suge, so Pac was at that particular time mad at Dre for whatever reason. And he was in the studio. I just remember Pac came in the studio and was like, "Move, come over here." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Sam Sneed and some other producers is in the studio. Dre boy, going in and do what you got to do right now." And I immediately went in there, leading the pack. You know what I mean? It was a couple of them and a few of them, and we chased them out the studio. And it was all Pac was doing it because of his loyalty to Suge, and I was doing it, my loyalty to Pac.